The opinions expressed in the Brothers-in-Law show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal professional legal advice.
Thanks for tuning in to Brothers-in-Law on Go Country 105. I'm Larry Mandel.
And I'm Rob Mandel.
And we've been trial attorneys here in Los Angeles for over 40 years.
On our show, we will discuss current events, talk about legal issues, and have some very entertaining guests stop by. So stay tuned every week for Brothers-in-Law right here on Go Country 105.
Hi, I'm Larry Mandel.
I'm Rob Mandel.
And we are Brothers-in-Law. Hey, Rob, how we doing today?
I'm doing great, man. You know, I want to talk about something that can be kind of hard to talk about, and that is debt.
Man, oh, Shevitz.
A lot of us get behind pretty easily.
Oh, yeah?
It's so easy to do. You get that Macy's card, you get that Visa, and next thing you know, you owe a whole bunch of money.
Hey, but the other thing is this, Rob. You go into
and you're
a store.
paying interest.
Oh, yeah. But then you'll go into a store. You go to Lowe's. You go to Home Depot. They're all saying, hey, you'll save some money. Just open up this credit card.
What a fallacy.
Go.
What a fallacy. But you know what happens? You know, we do have a system in this country where if you get way too far in debt.
Yeah. You're irresponsible to some degree, let's face it.
You could be, but it could be other circumstances. You lose your job.
Yeah.
You know, you had big medical bills that you didn't anticipate.
So true.
And you get into that situation, and we do have a stopgap where you can start anew.
Right.
And we're lucky enough to have with us in the studio today someone who is a master at helping people do just that.
Right.
He's been doing it a long time.
David Hagen.
Very, very long time.
David Hagen.
Very long time.
Welcome to the show, Dave Hagen.
He's a bankruptcy attorney.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Bankruptcy attorney and podcast host, too.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the podcast. Let's get a little pitch on that real quick.
Well, we don't even know what the bankruptcy attorney part is all about yet.
Well, I want to hear the podcast, though. Come on.
Well, the podcast part is the Financial Wellness Podcast, and we had helped 10,000 people maybe over the years through bankruptcy and another 10,000 without bankruptcy. We've been at it quite a while. And we thought, look, we clean up the circumstance. What do we do with that fresh start opportunity?
Yeah.
And so we created the podcast for people to dial in about 20, 25 minutes a week and think about their financial wellness, purposely pursuing their financial plan. So when they look back years from now, they can go, wow, maybe the last thing I wanted to do was to file bankruptcy, maybe the best thing I ever did. And the podcast isn't even necessarily set up for people that have filed for bankruptcy. It's for everybody. There's not enough personal finance information out there.
So it's not just people that have filed bankruptcy, but people that have kind of fallen off.
Absolutely.
All right, well, tell us about that then. How are you talking about bankruptcy prevention, basically? And
how after bankruptcy.
Well, wait a minute. He said some people he helps before bankruptcy.
Absolutely. Bankruptcy prevention. I mean, people that are pursuing a purposeful plan will reduce the risk potentially that they might need to file. And then once people have cleared the decks in a bankruptcy, they've got the opportunity to start fresh with a completely blank slate.
Yeah.
So what a real opportunity to turn around, start fresh, and rebound in a very strong and purposeful way.
And build up their credit. Right.
Well, that's part of it. Yeah,
okay.
we're not
such
huge
as it is.
Yeah, we're not huge fans of credit. If you're positive cash flow, you don't need credit.
Right.
I mean, we're big proponents. Buy a car for cash. Buy a used car for cash.
Yeah.
Get a house on a 15-year loan. Don't put yourself in a lot of payments, because if something happens, then you're cooked.
Yeah,
you're cooked in 90 days,
like
120
we were saying,
days. You're going down the toilet bowl. Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you got two people, spouses, that are funding a pile of debt and something happens to one of them, so the risk is basically twice.
Right.
Now you're really screwed.
And that's what we see, though.
All the time.
When you're married, sometimes there's 2 times the debt.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. 2 times sounds like a song. 2 times the debt.
It's a country western.
Yes. 2 times the debt.
2-step, 2 times the debt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
2-step to the 2 times the debt.
You know, there's a book out there called The 2 Income Trap, and that was the exact thesis of that book, which is now we have two people funding a house and a car and a whatever, and something happens to one of them, they're in trouble just that much quicker. You know who wrote that book?
No.
Dave
This
Hagen.
is going to kill you guys.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren.
No kidding.
Oh, we know Elizabeth Warren. She
Yeah.
wants to be
Hooty
president.
hoo.
Yeah.
And so she wrote that book through personal experience, or she just was like a sociologist studying that
No, I mean,
situation?
she cut her teeth as a bankruptcy professor at Harvard.
That's right.
And wrote self-help books.
Imagine cutting your teeth as a bankruptcy professor at Harvard.
There you go.
I can't imagine.
I kind of dig her.
So now she wants to
all right.
self-help the country.
I think that's a good idea.
Well,
if we
yeah.
can do it.
So, when people are starting with their credit cards, it just kind of spirals, So does your podcast address the issue of put some brakes on spending?
Absolutely. No debt.
Yeah.
I mean, let's start with no debt. Clear the decks. We spent 3 of the early episodes talking about how do you get rid of debt? What are the strategies that you use to get rid of debt? And then put together a plan, a purposeful plan to start saving a little piece of that. Because most people don't know this. Money in the bank will double every 10 years if you're getting 7%.
Yeah, but how do you get 7%?
Oh, all sorts of places. The market's returned 10, 12 over the last 40, 50
Stock
years.
market.
Now and not necessarily a stock market, maybe a fund. You
mutual
start
fund?
trying to pick stocks, you're probably going to lose. You start
Yeah.
thinking short term, you're probably going to lose.
But let's talk about the no debt thing.
Right.
Yeah, I wanna hear that.
Because,
That's right.
because I'm a master of debt.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a big mortgage.
We all are. It's human nature.
Oh yeah. The credit cards. I lease my vehicle.
Right?
Okay.
Oh,
I don't even
like
buy
that.
the damn thing.
No, I don't even like
Is that a good thing?
Well, I'm just
Leasing?
saying. I don't know. I'm talking to a guy. I'm asking Dave the question. Okay?
Well, I'm asking you.
Okay, no, I don't
You don't know.
That's a rhetorical question. But so how do we,
Reduce debt.
well, no, how do we stop ourselves from going to those places?
Well, first and foremost, go cash.
How do you do that? Maybe you don't have the cash. How do you buy a house without incurring debt these days?
You put together a down payment, and you make sure that your down payment is within a third of your take-home pay, and you put your head down and you make the payments over a long period of time. If you can pull off a 15-year loan, better.
Yeah.
The second half of a 30-year loan, you're mostly
Interest.
It's just interest,
It's
yeah.
just interest upon interest. So, they've done studies and found that people that go cash, as opposed to using credit cards, spend 18% less. People are more frugal. People are more financially focused when they're using cash because it's hard to part with the Benjamins.
Right.
It's easy to use the credit card.
So
Way
easy.
too easy.
Right?
Now, wait a minute.
It's
though.
crazy.
How about this idea? What I do,
Yeah.
I don't use Visa or MasterCard. I mean, on rare moments I do
Yeah.
for little things.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I use American Express because you have to pay that the next month.
That's not
You gotta pay
true,
it
Rob,
off.
because they will charge you interest too if you don't have to pay it all off. So that's
Well, I
not
always
true.
do. I always do.
But regardless,
But then
Dave,
you get points. You can use those points.
screw
buy
the
stuff.
points.
I
Let's
think
talk to Dave for a
I think
moment
I think
here.
you need a card because you need a card to get around. You need to get a tow. You need to get something online. You get a card, but you get one card.
Right.
You make sure you've got some plausible, simple rewards program. It's not that critical, but I use an Amazon card.
Okay.
And you stick with that one card, and you try and use the majority of stuff you pay for with cash.
Yeah.
So people are living beyond their means.
Oh,
basically.
way.
And so, what else do they do to scale back, or what direction do they take?
Put together a spending plan. Everybody likes to talk about budget. I don't like budget.
Right.
A budget's like a diet. As soon as you're on a budget, you want to go spend that money,
That's so
right?
true.
That's me.
You want to
I-
eat some French fries?
I try and drop some pounds, and I go, God, I'm really hungry this week.
I like
right?
to buy
it's
stuff.
Killer,
I like to buy stuff online.
Right. But
Me too.
spending plan is thoughtful, forward thinking. It's purposeful. I tell people, and I borrowed this term from Warren Buffett: deploy your capital. Deploy your capital.
Okay,
Put
what
it
does that
where
mean?
you want it. Purposely put it where you want it, rather than where someone's going to take it out of your pocket.
So you control your money instead of your money controlling you.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Hard to do, but it's a mindset. It's
It's
a
tough.
thought. Well, yeah, and a lot of personal finance is more emotion and between the ears than it is coming out of the wallet.
And Amazon, talking about Amazon, it's so easy. My credit card's already on file. And I
course.
just press that button, boom. And it's so nice
I
to
love
get that
it.
package.
I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I've been doing lately? These big old packages of dog food that we get. I don't want to go to Petco and haul that thing.
Yeah.
So I just hit the button and it shows up at the house.
Right.
The thing is, when the guy delivers it, I see the guy looking up into the camera going, "You made me haul this thing."
Yeah. But then you pay it off immediately.
Absolutely,
So
every month. Has to. Otherwise, you stop using it.
We're Larry and Rob Mandel, the brothers-in-law, here on Go Country 105. Do you have a legal issue you need help with? We want to hear from you.
Find us on Instagram and send us a message. Then tune in on Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on Go Country 105. Hey, if you missed any part of this show or you just want to hear it again, go to brothersonlaw.com for all of our previous shows and all things Brothers on Law. I'm a working man, okay, or a working couple, okay,
Right.
working man and woman. And we got, 2 kids. We want to buy a house. We're living, in a rental for now. We got a payment on at least one car.
No, you got a pretty nice house.
Well, no,
he's not.
theoretically.
He's making
I'm
it sound
talking
like himself,
the-
but
I know.
he's not.
The hypothetical.
I heard about your
hypothetical.
house. You got a pretty nice house. You're a pretty successful
really.
guy.
Where do you
I
live?
don't own it. The bank owns it. But,
All right,
but
give
no,
your
this is a
hypothetical, Rob.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
Okay? Working couple of kids. They're renting right now. They want to buy a house, and they got at least one car payment. Mm-hmm. And now life is moving. Okay, there's not a lot of time to sit, just slam on the brakes and go, oh, honey, we gotta do a financial plan or a spending plan, like Dave,
Right.
what did you call it again?
Spending plan.
Yeah, spending plan.
No budget.
Right, not a budget.
Spending
budget's
plan.
bad.
And because unless they know who you are or know someone like you or tuning in, they may not even have the guidance to be able to get started doing something like that.
So what do you do?
So what do you do?
You
What
listen-
do these folks
First
do?
of all, you got to put aside time put aside that time, because if you don't, you're going to be laying in a hospital bed, 50, 60, 70 years from now going, God, I wish I had gone through it a little more thoughtfully, So you got to and it doesn't have to be a lot of time. It doesn't have to be very complicated. I tell people, sit down with a piece of paper in a restaurant with your spouse and write down 10 things you want to do. And then scratch out about 5 of them and pursue the top 5. Right? So you sit down and put together a plan. And then on a piece of paper, you go, here's what's coming in. Here's where we want it to go out. And it's not going to be exactly the same every month because life happens, like you said. But you've got these general guidelines. And so you might say, well, we're going to put off the vacation this year because this other thing came up. Or we want to put this money into that account so that it starts to grow and experience the magic of compounding interest. We want to do these things.
But Dave, shouldn't they put aside like a certain amount for like a savings? Let's say automatically, let's save
$400 a month.
Right. Whatever
right
it
into
is.
savings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's so hard to do.
No,
when-
not if it comes off the top.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Gotta
Exactly.
come off
and
the
I've
top.
done
Saying-
that before.
Yeah.
To make those decisions to actually do it is
Right.
hard. Because like you were saying before, there's so many temptations out there. There's the Amazons, there's the cars, there's the vacations.
But if it's a budget, it's hard to make that decision. If it's a spending plan and you have a clear goal where you want to be, it's kind of easy. You gotta wanna.
Yeah.
And if you've got the target that you want, it's kind of easy to do. You go, well, I'm so happy about that. I had a nice case that I got a nice retainer on. You guys experience that from time to time. And I used to think, well, I'm going to go out. I got a down payment on a car.
Right.
And I just thought, I want to put that in the account. I want some more digits in that account, and I want to watch that grow. And I want to be able to look at my app every couple days and see what the stock market's doing and go, Yahtzee. Although sometimes you look at it and go, what the...
I like the word Yahtzee, by the
Yahtzee.
way. I'm going to use that from now
Bingo.
on.
But
Yahtzee.
more often than not, if you've chosen a long ball strategy, it's going to go up a little bit, and
patience. You need patience.
You got to have patience. You
Well,
got to have a
self-control,
target.
too.
And self-control. I have neither. Now, I'm leasing a car. Why is that so terrible?
With a plan, self-control happens.
Yeah.
Because it's all here.
Yeah.
Leasing a car.
Yeah.
Why is that so terrible? Is it just like throwing money away?
We recorded. It's funny you should ask. We recorded a show last night on cars,
Right.
Because that's my rant the last 6-7 weeks. At the end of a lease, you don't own anything.
That's right.
So you're driving around a nicer car than what the payments are supposed to provide for, and when you finish paying the payments, you got nothing. Now, I've leased cars. I've
me too.
done that. I walked into a dealership and they said, "Here's a Chevy Volt for $229."
Right.
I was going to buy the damn car for cash.
Yeah.
And they go $229 for 3 years. I go, that's
Why not?
That's like for free.
Yeah.
No gas, no repairs, $229. I'm in,
Yeah.
right? But to otherwise lease a car, I don't know. Our thought
Now,
is
you can write it off on your business.
well, that's between you, your uncle, and your accountant.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's, and how much you can write off, and
Uncle
how that,
Sam, by the way.
how
I
that's-
write
how
off the
that's-
whole dang thing.
You know, and by the way, not to diverge too much, but you know what your biggest expenditure in your life is? Think about this. What's your biggest expenditure in your life?
My
Your
wife.
house?
No, not your wife. Bigger than your wife.
Your house.
There is a bigger power. No, way bigger than your house.
Food, consumption.
Your government. Your government.
Taxes.
You're spending 30, 40, sometimes 50% to the two governments. We should pay attention to what they're doing with our dollars, because my gut tells me it's not being spent well.
Yeah.
You know? So let's go back to the car. Our guideline is buy a car 3-4 years old for cash.
Okay.
Why? Because you pay 50% of the sticker price,
Right.
and it's still in pretty good shape. It's under 50,000 miles typically.
Right.
You can get exactly the car you want because you can shop it on the internet. I got my last car in Seattle because it was the car that I wanted. It was
Wow.
4
You
years
drove-
old.
you flew
I
to
flew
Seattle?
to Seattle, test drove it, and then made arrangements to put it on a truck.
Good for
And I
you.
got like a killer car at 50%, had 28,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
But I shopped that thing
How about
for
a
4 or
warranty?
5 months.
Does it have a warranty?
Well, it had a warranty for about 8 months.
But you know, see, that's my theory.
That's a risk.
I just bought a car, but it's a couple years old.
Yeah.
But it still had the warranty, and you can put on an extra warranty if you want to. On it,
Absolutely.
extended warranty.
Absolutely.
All right, I wanna switch gears.
So now you're driving that car, you own it, and now you're saving up for the next one.
Yeah.
And you're putting that money in an account that's doubling over some period of time because you're getting interest on that.
Very smart.
Right? So you're forward of the interest curve, not behind it.
We
like
need to
everybody
sit
in the
down
United
with
States.
Dave Hagen.
Yeah, Dave. We
Oh, wait
need
a
a
minute,
couple
he's
more
right here.
hours. Yeah, but now.
Have you suffered or been injured by someone else's negligence? When you need a legal team that will stand up for what is right, won't give up the fight and obtain justice, call 818-886-6600. Mandel Trial Lawyers specializes in personal injury cases of all types. Whether it's a car accident, product or premises liability, dog bite, or a catastrophic injury, Mandel Trial Lawyers are there for you when the fight is worth it. Call now for your free consultation. 818-886-6600. Let the scales of justice tip in your favor.
You want to talk a little bit about bankruptcy?
Yeah, because, okay, now, here's the scenario.
Yeah.
We have failed to do a spending plan.
Yeah.
We have acquired too much debt. We're way over our heads. We need that fresh start. Tell us, just,
Who you
just
gonna
in
call?
case. Yeah, who are you going to call, Dave? But no, because not
Debt
everyone...
busters.
Debt busters is right.
Not everyone understands
Right.
exactly how bankruptcy works and what it really is, what it entails.
Can you give us a thumbnail sketch?
Yeah, give us the thumbnail.
Yeah. Well, bankruptcy is a constitutional right. The framers of the federal constitution said that Congress shall make laws regarding bankruptcy.
Wow.
Why? Well, because guys named Thomas and George and Ben owned a lot of money in England, and that's why they were hiding out here in the United States.
Nice.
Ah, got it.
So they said, we're going to clear the decks. And by the way, Thomas Jefferson, who was one of the founders of the country,
Brilliant.
just a phenomenal person. He was a mess financially, a mess. His estate was a mess. But he was a visionary at government and understanding human nature.
Yeah.
So they put this in the Constitution. It's a federal law. Someone can file bankruptcy, discharge their debts with some exceptions, turn around and start fresh. The deal is they have to turn over all their assets to be liquidated for cash to be spread among the creditors. Now, the good news is, for us at least, by the time someone comes to see us, usually assets are gone.
Right.
Or there are assets that are protectable, or what we call exempt.
What are those?
Right.
Well, like a modicum of clothes. When people would file bankruptcy in England, they would just like strip them naked and say, have a nice fresh start, and they'd be walking down the street.
Really?
And so they saw that and they go,
Ouch.
oh, let's
Those
let them
crazy
keep
Brits.
Let's let them keep their clothes, not out of any kind of
They're
benevolent.
naked.
Yeah, and it wasn't too attractive.
Give
by
them
the way.
a trench coat at least.
Right. So, some clothes and some furniture and some jewelry and equity in a house. A homestead exemption will protect $100,000 in equity in a house for a married couple. And the idea is, actually, the art of what we do is to exempt assets so they can turn around, start fresh, and just lose the debt.
Right.
Then they turn around, start fresh. The bankruptcy is a 4-month process. We're talking Chapter 7, by the way,
Right.
which is the most prevalent type of bankruptcy.
Right.
Turn around, start fresh, but with a plan. You see how that works?
Yeah.
The creditors sue them, call them, harass them, almost doing them a favor by pushing them off the cliff because nobody wants to come see me.
Yeah.
But if they got someone dogging them, right? If they got someone dogging them,
then it's like, what are we going to do?
They're
honey?
doing them a favor.
We're
Right.
screwed.
Yeah.
You gave us no choice, man.
Right.
Now, bye.
Yeah, if it's you or me, it's going to be me. That's an easy decision. So they turn around, start fresh. There's another kind of bankruptcy called Chapter 13, which is a 3 to 5 year partial repayment plan. We use that to stop foreclosures or people that are being pursued by the IRS. We can pay those taxes sometimes at no interest over 5 years.
That's like a reorganization plan?
Exactly. And then
So-
the business
and what does that mean?
reorganization.
And what does that mean?
Reorganization,
Yeah.
repaying in full or in part over 3 to 5 years.
So they don't liquidate the debt like a Chapter 7.
No, it's repaid.
Because they're continuing
It's
to
repaid
to
in
go.
full or in part.
Right.
Now, I have a
Right.
question. Now,
Yeah.
now this is like a pet peeve of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about reorganization, talking about Chapter 11.
Right.
Okay. Now, this may be out of your realm of...
Spit it out, Rob.
Yeah. If you're a polluter,
Mm-hmm.
see, we represent about 600 people, 650 people who are polluted beyond your wildest imagination right here in Los Angeles from a lead recycling facility that was depositing lead particulate into the air in these neighborhoods in Los Angeles for years.
Right.
And as soon as, the people started filing claims and their stockholders were complaining that they weren't managing the company, blah, 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 they file Chapter 11. What happens? They just skate. They don't have to pay these individuals that they've harmed. Some of them are children with brain damage and cancers and all kinds of stuff. And
so what's your question?
Well, my question is, what do you think? Shouldn't that law be changed so that, a polluter or someone who does damage, not just acquires a debt, but actually does damage to other people, why should they be able to hide behind bankruptcy law?
Well, let's step back for just a minute and talk about Chapter 11. 11 is a reorganization for businesses, more often than not corporations.
Right.
And the idea is that you allow the corporation to continue to operate under the review of the United States government, and that they reorganize and pay as much as the creditors would get if the company closed and liquidated.
Okay.
So the idea is pay as much as you would in a liquidation and stay open and have jobs and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the idea behind Chapter 11.
Now, to keep businesses going.
To keep businesses going, those that can make it. Now, if they're losing money, they need to close and be done. But if there's something savable, let's save it.
Right.
So let's say all these people file claims and they've been harmed and they should be compensated. But past the liquidation value of the company, what else are you going to give them? Sometimes you give them a little something more on a go-forward basis, but what else are you going to give them?
Well, because that's what I'm thinking on the go-forward basis, or they should be required to have some kind of level of insurance that's just beyond, minimal claims.
Well, but that's not a bankruptcy issue. That's an insurance issue. That's a corporation's issue.
But if they want to take advantage of Chapter 11 and they're actually harming people as opposed to just acquiring debt.
Stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, brothersonlaw.com.
Hey, if you missed any part of this show or you just want to hear it again, go to brothersonlaw.com for all of our previous shows and all things Brothers on Law.
We have a
caller.
All right, let's do it.
Hi, this is Eleni. I wanted to know, by filing bankruptcy, does that wipe out my student loans? Thanks, guys.
All right, so Dave, what do you think about Eleni? Is it Eleni? Eleni's question
About filing bankruptcy, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that is a very hot topic. I mean, what a great question, because it's being talked about even in the current presidential campaign. That's one of the main issues that they're all talking about.
That's right, student debt.
Over the last bunch of years, student loan debt has grown so that in this country, there's more student loan debt than there is credit card debt.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that crazy? More student loan debt than credit loan. And basically,
people want to get educated, though. That's good.
Basically, student loans are not dischargeable. Now, it used to be back in the day, if you had a student loan and it was in the pay mode for 5 years, you could make it go away into bankruptcy. Then they moved it out to 7 years. And then they passed the Higher Education Amendment Act, and they said it just doesn't go away. You know who signed the Higher Education Amendment Act?
George
This will
Bush?
surprise you. No, Bill Clinton. Doesn't that surprise you?
Bill.
Yeah. So
He was trying to balance the budget.
Yeah. It's not
which he did.
Well, I'm sure they handed it to him and they said, this will create more student loans for more people because now people have to repay. And who knows, maybe that was a day he was a little distracted or something. You never know.
Yeah.
But this debt is non-dischargeable now.
Very distractible guy.
They're talking about, how is this going to change? Several of the candidates are saying, let's just forgive it all, because it's dragging down our economy. People
really
can't afford
is.
houses and cars and
But
stuff
those
like that.
lenders, they're not going to be very happy.
No, but those loans are backed up by the federal government. They're guaranteed by the federal government. So who gets to pay? Guess what?
The taxpayers.
We do.
There's got to be some kind of compromise
Wow.
between that,
Well, I mean, one of the candidates is saying, let's only forgive $50,000. Or let's forgive, another candidate says, let's forgive all of them. Another one, the current administration is talking about changing guidelines to reduce this backlog of debt in a more
Equitable
thoughtful,
way, yeah.
long. You can't just to me it seems, you just can't let it all go all of a sudden, because what about the people that are paying? On the other hand, there's people that are hopelessly mired in debt. I've had clients that have moved out of the country. I said, there's nothing I can do. And
Really?
6 weeks later, I get a box of Swiss chocolates. Life is good. Life is good in
Guess
Switzerland.
where they went?
And that's not good public
Bahamian
policy.
cigars.
Right? Yeah, that's not helping. That's not helping. But I also think as a country, we need to rethink what education is for and what education costs. My goodness, look at what some of the local schools, look at what SC and some of these other schools cost. Are you really getting that much value as opposed to going to CSUN? I think not.
Probably not.
We need to rethink that.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Tell our. I want to plug your book here. You wrote this book called "Changing Your Financial Destiny" by David R. Hagen.
Available on Amazon.
Okay. All right. And then, how can folks get a hold of you if they want to find out more about their own situation, maybe even consider a bankruptcy? How they get a hold of you?
Go to Google, type in David R. Hagen. It's all over the place.
How about the phone number?
Hagen, right?
Hagen. There's another guy in the Valley, David S. I'm David R.
All right,
And
David
people
R.
say, which one are, they ask me, which one are you? And I say, well, I'm the better looking one.
The R, the rich one?
But his friends have told me I'm much too optimistic about that. The book is
David R. Hagen.
The purpose of the book was, I'd meet people in a social situation, and like a doctor, we go, doctor, I got this pain. People would say, well, how much debt do I need to have?
Oh, so you just give them the book?
So that's what the book is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, you read the book. It's 90 pages. It's a one night read,
All right.
and there's guidelines in there.
Hey,
All right,
man.
what's the phone number, though, Dave?
818-992-1940.
1940. Very good year.
Had that number since
Yeah.
1988.
Wow. Well, listen, I hate to say it, and it's been such a pleasure, Dave.
Yeah, this went so fast.
Hey,
know.
how fun.
But we got
Yeah.
to
Fun
wrap
talking
it
to
up.
you guys.
Yeah,
Hey,
it is.
Dave.
I'm coming in this morning going, God, these guys are going to tag team wrestle. I mean,
Yeah, we
2-on-1. Like, what fun this has been, huh?
Thank you, Dave.
We're softies. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
All right. So if you missed any part of the show, you want to hear it again, or you want to listen to our previous shows, go to brothersonlaw.com for all things Brothers on Law.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in, and check out next week's show at the same time, 8 a.m. here on Go Country 105. And Rob, remember what?
Let the scales of justice tip in your favor.
Nice.
Brothers on Law.
The opinions expressed in the Brothers-in-Law show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal professional legal advice.